Occasionally, a game comes along that is so great, it defies all expectations. This is a game that shapes the future for decades to come. A game that is so incredibly well thought out, structured, well paced, and everything in between that it is nothing short of art. These are the games that we call masterpieces. And while art is subjective, and visible cracks in some areas have begun to show themselves in the 2 decades since its release, most would agree that The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is without question one of these masterpieces. What you're about to watch will not be a typical review. How can you review a 20-year-old game that is of so much renown that we consider it to be one of the greatest games ever made? No, this video will be much more than that. This will be a more personal video, a retrospective if you will. I will be discussing what Ocarina of Time means to me, and my journey of experiencing this legend. Before we continue, be sure of one thing. This will not be a critical discussion. I will gush. There will be much praising involved in this video. And so, with that out of the way, let's begin. Before we discuss Ocarina, a basis of how I became a Zelda fan must be discussed first and foremost. The year was 2016, and it was June. In other words, it was E3. Nintendo had just formally announced the previously titled Zelda Wii U as Breath of the Wild. I knew the Zelda series existed, but prior to this announcement, I essentially had no connection to the series other than that one Nintendo Land minigame. You know the one I'm talking about. With that being said, quite by chance, I found myself clicking on the Breath of the Wild E3 trailer and was completely and utterly enamored by it. The world, the music, the way that the trailer built to showing the environment and then Link's mechanics captured my imagination. I knew I had to get this game. But before that, I felt that familiarizing myself with the series was the right way to go. It wasn't long before I had my hands on Ocarina of Time 3D and Wind Waker HD. This is where the journey truly starts. As soon as the opening titles came up and I saw Link riding Epona across Hyrule Field, I knew I was in for something truly special. The music, the calming nature of the environment. It was the calm before the storm, the tease of the adventures to come. I made a save file and proceeded to step into another realm. The opening prologue with Ganondorf set the stage nicely and let my younger self know, okay, he's the bad guy. The Great Deku Tree, Navi, the these and thous gave me a serious Lord of the Rings vibe, and I could not have been more excited. Then, I got to play as Link, and everything clicked into place. It's hard to describe, but running around Korok Forest, stumbling into the Lost Woods, and finally getting to the Great Deku Tree felt right. I had found the game for me. This is a series where I belonged. The first dungeon inside the Great Deku Tree blew me away. The vertical space, the intricate puzzles, the terrifying sculptures, they all created a sense of magic, the same type of feeling that a classic Disney movie can give. It's just so pure, and nothing short of magic. Oh, and falling down the web into the lower floor was a stroke of genius on Nintendo's part that I could not get over. It was incredible that first few hours. I continued through the game, being completely entranced by the world, the characters, the story. That is until Jabby Jabby's belly, where I got stuck. I couldn't figure out what to do, and I lost interest in the game for a time. However, the breakaway from Ocarina of Time made me start playing Wind Waker. Like Ocarina, I fell in love with this new game. However, unlike Ocarina, I played it all the way through and finished it. With Wind Waker completed, it was finally time to finish the game that made me a Zelda fan. I continued playing Ocarina of Time with my newfound skills I had gained from playing Wind Waker, and slowly but surely made my way through this game. Through time, deserts, volcanoes and lakes, I crossed all the while taking in the rich and vibrant world. The puzzles were cleverly designed, and that little jingle that played whenever you solved something never got old. The fact that you could travel through time itself and see the beloved Hyrule transformed into a wicked shadow of its former self was unnerving. I went through the whole game and eventually I was standing toe to toe with the man that I had seen when I first clicked on that save file at the very beginning. It took a few tries, but eventually Ganondorf was vanquished and I had done it. I had finished Ocarina of Time. The journey was over. There had been a few bumps here and there, but Ocarina was the first Zelda game I played, and the one that made me become a fan. Another, more personal reason why Ocarina means so much to me is because 2016 was not the best year for me. Stuff was going on that made life a bit of a hassle. While I have come out of that year stronger, and I dare say more resilient, it did not always feel that way. On top of my ever-supporting family was Ocarina of Time. When Link overcame an impossible obstacle, so did I. Seeing Link grow up as just a kid and becoming strong enough to push back the darkness enshrouding Hyrule helped me have the courage to push back my own darkness, to save my own little version of Hyrule. It is for this reason that I thank Ocarina, and that it remains one of my favourite games of all time. A few years later, the Zelda series remains my favourite series of all time. I have to thank Ocarina for that. The game sucked me into its world, and I did not want to let go. Those hours I spent inside Hyrule were pure magic, and I found myself coming back to the game repeatedly, constantly, and finding new things. In fact, I recently 100%ed the game, and it was a blast the whole way through. Never has a game meant so much to me as Ocarina of Time does. Well, maybe except Breath of the Wild, but that's a topic for another video. Ocarina of Time took me on a beautiful journey where I fought deadly beasts, saved the land, and most importantly, learned how to grow up. Yes, that's what Ocarina did for me. It helped me grow into a stronger, better, and more resilient person, and I hope it can do the same for you. It truly is gaming magic at its finest.